Hold on. Why are you being so difficult? Hi. Give me one moment. Everything is being, shall we say, a bit of a turd. So, when I say everything, I specifically mean YouTube Live Studio, because that has no excuse. How do we sound? There we go. Hi. Sorry. I swear I'm a professional. Stream's current bitrate higher than the recommended bitrate. Alright, well, they'll just be buffering. That's the bitch and a half with switching live streams from Twitch to YouTube, because what flies on Twitch does not get off the ground on YouTube, and vice versa. Let me just bring everything up. Chat. There we go. So, how y'all been? I feel like I just keep saying the same things every stream when I say I'm not doing great, but we're gonna keep drawing the cats anyway. But, I mean, that's how it's going. And I had said this before on, I think, a different live stream, and I made it into a short when saying that I understand and kind of appreciate that, you know, as a content creator, we all have our responsibilities to our audience to talk about things when they are bad, and not just bury our heads in the sand and pretend that everything is fine, because it's not. But at the same time, I mean, I'm an art channel. I draw cats. I'm a comic artist. Yelling at my government to hold, you know, for some accountability isn't going to change anything. And everyone, there are plenty of other people who are covering the situation perfectly fine. It's not like, you know, Uncle Sam is like, I need you to do your part, because we're all tired. I'm tired. And sometimes we just want a few hours of levity. And I do apologize to this week's Twitch stream for anyone who was there. I severely apologize for my mood, because I was not in the best of moods. And I'll just try to, you know, just have the 2.5 hours that we do have together to talk about things that are, you know, that we do have control over, that we, you know, that are fun. That is the good news. And the good news is that I'm able to do this. That I'm able to stream the way I like, the way I'm able to connect to people, the way I'm able to make art and post it. And that by itself is pretty darn cool. So, without any further ado, let's get right into it. I think the YouTube chat might appear on screen. At least I severely hope so. If not, I apologize. Okay, yeah, my mic is on. That oh my god, that would have been so... Okay. That would have been really embarrassing. There. So, anyway. Oh, hold on a second, guys. Needed to close my office door. So, today I'm gonna do this background because I love backgrounds. It's just the one background for today's stream, and then we'll be skipping on over to some line art because I did have other pages, but I did the backgrounds for them off stream because I just needed to get those pages done. I do this, this, and that. Need to just separate the... Whoops. I know I've asked people before about why they hate backgrounds. I just don't think I've gotten a definitive answer, or at least an answer that I can remember, of why people hate backgrounds so much, besides from the fact that it takes a long time. And I'd say that's fair enough, but have y'all considered that, line art takes a long time too? Stitching takes a long time, almost even longer than the backgrounds, at least it does for me anyway. There we go. Let's start with this background, because these two are simple, and this one is going to be fun. I have another... no, that's the wrong folder. There we go, there we go. Okay. I decided that the time frame is midday. Not night, like I had previously thought. That's for future pages. I just love being an adult with that still struggles with itchy acne. No kidding, right? Pain. Love it. I was looking back on some of the backgrounds of previous pages and I realized, man, I forgot how I did backgrounds for a while. Because, like, the past few pages have been, you know, like, out in a field and whatnot, not in the camp, not in forests. And forest is usually where I prefer. That's my comfort zone when it comes to backgrounds. Because trees are just so much fun for me to render. But once again, interrupted by the monster. Say hi to the monster. Hey, monster. Alright, sorry. Like I said on previous streams, I love cats, I just can't stand them half the time. Because it's just they could be dead asleep across the house, but the second you close the door, they want into that room suddenly. And then you open the door for them, they stand in the room for a few seconds, and then they're like, I want out again. And you just, I just let you in. What do you mean you want back out? Just having closed doors around a cat is against the rules. I mean, it's just, stop, you violated the law. Adding a bunch of trees and twigs into the background. I also realized I had not been... If I'm going to be using this grayscale technique, I need to render darker, which I hadn't been the past few pages. Which is not good. Because if you... The trick with the starting grayscale and then overlaying color is the darker your pigments are, the more pigmented and the more saturated the backgrounds are going to be. So if you want something to be vibrant when starting grayscale, you have to start dark. Because this, with the overlay... And I mean, this is kind of a no-duh situation, but it just took me a while to figure it out. Actually, no, I figured it out quite quickly. I just somehow kept forgetting. And then didn't continue to do so. The more pigment you want, the darker your colors have to be. But not black. Because that's not how that works. And the only reason I've decided to go grayscale is because that's how I did my animatic. And I liked how that looked in the end, so I was like, you know what? We'll try it. By just switching in between Twitch and YouTube for live streams does cause a wee bit of stress. Because it's like, oh, what if it disconnects and it doesn't tell me? Because I've had a YouTube stream do that to me several times, and it was not fun. Like at all. Got a hair in my mouth. I didn't realize how much I tilt my head when I draw until I started live stream and like watching back on the live stream. It's like, oh wow, I tilt my head a lot. Hawk, no. Monster. Brace your eyes, guys. You're about to get a flashbang. Sorry, Cat, but you never know. I give her maybe 3 minutes before she wants back in again. Usually she's like an all-day outdoor cat, but recently, and it's probably because of the snow, she's been in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. Whine and cry, upset that it's cold and wet out. But I'm sorry, cat, I can't. Well, damn, Jackie, I can't change the weather. I'm cold too, Michael. Yeah. I get it as close to black as possible. And then I put it at the bottom. There. Fake shading. What color is this supposed to be? Hello? Jeez, okay. Another problem with working in grayscale, sometimes you just can't tell if you're making a difference. Which can be used as an allegory for life. I mean, if you refuse to see things in color, or some sort of analogy, you'll never know if you're making a difference. But you have to see things not in shades of black and white, but in the full spectrum of vision. Or something cheesy like that. I don't care if you think it's cheesy and corny. I'm an American. We love cheese. Mostly because we're one of the few uh, peoples that aren't overly lactose intolerant. That's a bit of weird factoid for you. Caucasians are notoriously less lactose intolerant than other groups. Which is more than a little hilarious. And it actually turns out that being lactose tolerant is a genetic mutation. Because usually adults become allergic to milk or any sort of milk-based product as soon as they become an adult. Like, cats are lactose intolerant. Yeah, cats of all things. You think, oh yeah, give them the cream and the milk and cream. Cats love that. It's like, no. You'll kill them. Just like to say, oh yeah, rabbits love carrots. It's like, no. Actually. You give a rabbit a carrot, you'll kill them. The poor guys. They like leafy greens. Well, same thing with giving bread to birds. Or ducks. They can't digest bread. Or grains. They need seed. Or specifically ducks, they eat grass. So giving them bread will make them sick. And you will kill them. That's not a depressing, well, it is a depressing topic, but it is more of an interesting factoid that a lot of the things that they say, oh yeah, this is just innocent fun for children. It's like, this is actually quite dangerous to everyone else involved. Oh, that's the whole tree, okay. There we go. I'm gonna put the rocks in a separate layer, just so I can, whoops, I move the mouse and stylus at the same time. This rock is just darker. second. There we go. Okay, okay. Not much of a difference. And since it's closer to evening, the sun will be coming from that direction, at least slightly more so than it was earlier in that day. Oh my god, this entire past 20 pages has been one singular day. Lord Almighty. Lord have mercy. We must stay focused, brothers. That little crevice there, a little bit of a dip there. And there's actually more lichen. You just can't see it from this angle. Sitting on my chair, weird. Oh, it's been more than 3 minutes, so... I guess she actually did want to be outside. Chance to set to the king, that news that I bring. So let the night begin. Man, I miss DA games. You know, I have a bunch of his music. Nothing is stopping me from listening to a bunch of DA games. I just haven't been. One good thing that, like, off the top of my head, I can think that you will actually benefit from switching to grayscale and then overlaying color rather than just starting with color is in grayscale, you're thinking more about texture rather than just hues and vibrancy. Because, and value, of course, but when it comes to, you know, just doing with color, things can get a little blobby, as you can probably see from some of my previous pages. Some of the bushes just became green blobs. I hate those pages so much. But when it comes to grayscale, I have to actually think about what it is I'm doing. Slightly more than if I was just coming in here with color. You see, because now with all this, I'm gonna put that back. And we add an overlay at what percentage? A 69, which is impossible to grab. Go in. Now it looks weird at first because you can also like screw around with things like this. Some greens in here. Because you've already built the layers, now you're just buffing them out. Speaking of buffs, I should have talked about this during the just chatting phase, but I completely forgot. New Spinosaurus just dropped, which is an absolute wild concept that we discovered a new Spinosaurus before GTA 6. I can't take credit for that joke. A lot of people have been making it. And see, yes. You may think now that this background looks bad. And you'd be right. Give me 1 second to fix this up. This is usually where I start to lose confidence in myself, because it's not quite looking the way I want it to look. And that usually makes me a little bit antsy. But that just means I need to keep on keeping on. But sometimes you do something the one way, and then you realize, okay, hang on. Something here. Hold up. Wait a minute. Something not right. And then you just fall back on the old ways, on what you know works. And then it just... And then you start to wonder why you even bothered changing tactics in the first place, because if the old ways still work, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Then you realize it's not the new technique that isn't working, it's just something else isn't quite working. In the fact that this background looks fine. Like, it doesn't look like trash. It's just compared to my usual perfectionism, it's not quite up to par. Now, if I were to go in and... That's another thing you have to consider when your work or your creation isn't quite turning out the way you want it to. Is it because something is genuinely wrong? Or have you merely just gotten caught up in your own, like, high standards and perfectionism? Because I have quite a bit of perfectionism in my system. Which is why starting new projects is always such a daunting task for me, because if I'm not immediately good at it, what's the point? And that has nothing to do with, like, oh, if I'm not immediately good at it, I get discouraged. That's not being, you know, arrogant or not allowing yourself to be bad. That's because you've just been held to such a high standard. So you hold yourself to a high standard, and you're like, no, wait, I should be better than this. Why am I messing up? These are rookie mistakes. And it's like, everyone makes rookie mistakes. Hi, Waffles. I saw your earlier. I was just going on a tangent. Finally started to work on that animation, but when adding in the lyrics, halfway noticed it was just copy and pasting them from the wrong verse. Oh no! I need to start basically over. Great. Like what I was just saying about making mistakes. Rookie mistake. Everyone makes them. Even professionals make rookie mistakes. It's not any reflection on you or your skill. It's just sometimes legitimately you just forget. Like sometimes I'll just forget certain techniques and tips and tricks of the trade. And I'll just forget lessons I've learned over the years. Why? I just forgot. I forgot. My hand is so sore. You can't see it. Not because it gets too washed out, but on my middle finger, like right there, I had a splinter yesterday, and it just, I could not get it out by myself for the life of me. So now my finger, I got it out now. Well, my sister got it out now. So it's out and I'm on the mend. Oh my god, does it still hurt? Because it's right, it's right where I put my finger. That was off camera. Where the splinter was is right where, like, I put pressure for, like, my pens and stuff. So every time I use the pen, it's just, ouch. So happy you can read hiragana and katakana. If I was going blind, I would have people yelling if you say the lyrics were wrong. Yeah, oops. Okay. I'm gonna, this background right there, cat wants in. More than 3 minutes? That's an Academy record. Gates of heaven. it's funny because it's not even that bright out. It is overcast. Oh. Probably doesn't help that I was also using like hydrogen peroxide on my finger to try and draw it out, which doesn't work. Don't do that. Yeah, something about this back area here is ticking me off, and I'm not sure what it... Hang on, let me bring up a previous page, the one I was looking back on, because I'm actually quite proud of how that page turned out. Where is it? Here it is. Alright. Something has gone amiss to get from here to here. Okay. Okay. It's certainly brighter. Okay, pigment's definitely lower. And I did come back in with a highlight layer. So maybe if I, what is it, hard light, 50%. Yeah, on this page. This was back when I wasn't, slowly burning out. There's a huge difference in between these pages. Those pages and these pages. Mostly because I wasn't so insanely tired. I just very subtly add in a bit of bibble bubbles. Well done, cat. You've opened the floodgates of heaven. Monster! Monster! Come here. Come face your crimes. Come on outside. Is that it? Is that why you're tearing this office apart? Go on. Windows open. All that, you don't even want to. Hey! I'm trying to work, cat. This is gonna be impossible to do by myself. So damn short. Y'all can point and laugh about how short I am, but watch this. Bitch. all that just so y'all can actually see me. Where was I? Oh, yes. I think if I focus the lighting in this corner and make it darker over here, I can get away with some of this not looking quite right. Because no! She's in a goofy mood. But she doesn't want to go outside, apparently. Right, now, open the window first. It's so funny. She gets upset when I pick her up to put her out. But I can't get mad at her. She's just a cat. She doesn't understand streaming schedules. She doesn't understand what go live means. And she doesn't understand what it means when I'm, you know, come on, get outside when I open the door. The house heater is on. I can't be just heating up the whole neighborhood now, can we? She's a cat. She doesn't know that. I shouldn't be too upset with her, but at the same time, it's just, you know... It's not that it's not that I have a short attention span, it's just I don't like being interrupted. And when I am interrupted or brought off course in any way, I spend all of my attention. I need to get back on course as fast as possible, or I get irritated and antsy. Yes, that is a sign of neurodivergency. No, I have not gone to therapy because I can't afford therapy. All I can do is just recognize when I'm being unreasonable. And that's it. It's one of the worst things about being, oh my god. About being self-aware. You know exactly when you're not, you know, when you're being unreasonable and whatnot. Aha. That, ooh. New editing software. Yay! I'm thinking of getting a new editing software as well, but I need to try it. I need something to try it out on first. Something low stakes, like a speed paint edit. It's called Kdenlive. I want to try that one out because not only is it open source and free, it comes with Linux. Like when you get the deluxe pack, when you download Linux on a computer, it naturally comes with a bunch of open source programs like LibreOffice, uh, Krita, Audacity, OBS, and Kdenlive. So you know what? I have LibreOffice and it's good. I've tried Krita a long time ago and got a little frustrated with it, but maybe, who knows, Krita is good now, and I'll try it again, you know, when I'm not insanely busy. But I saw a tutorial of Kdenlive. I was like, you know what? That might just be exactly what I'm looking for. Use DaVinci Resolve. I tried DaVinci Resolve. You say it's a little basic? Oh, you're using DaVinci Resolve. I used, like, Blackmagic, which is still DaVinci, and it's just, oh my god. I could not figure out how that darn thing worked. Now, this is coming from someone who, like, I started my video editing journey with Windows Movie Maker from Windows 7. So if it's not the barest of bones basic bitch editing, I'm not going to get it as fast. So, like, and DaVinci Resolve, or Blackmagic, just ate all of the RAM on my computer. Like, my poor hard drive was trying so hard to keep up. There was, like, a few other editing softwares I tried to use, but it was one of those, okay, yeah, you get the free version, but anytime you render a video, it puts a watermark on the video, and I'm like, get the fuck out of there. And the reason why I bought Movavi, you know, like, using real money, is because all of the free ones at the time were either so bare bones that I couldn't do half the things I wanted to, and I just wanted it to work because I had been downloading so many different programs onto my computer, and I was just so sick of just the back and forth, spending hours setting up programs in the hopes that it would work. So I just wanted the one and done, and when I found something that worked, I just stuck with it forever. Which is why I've been using Movavi for the past few years, because I was so done. I was so done with all the back and forth rigmarole of everything. But now, whew, after working on my last animatic project, I am so ready to find something else. So I'm open to suggestions, but I am gonna try Kdenlive because it is free and open source, and it does function even on the lowest of GPU. I'm using all the wrong terms, but hopefully you know what I mean. Where'd my chair scoot back? Well, granted, this page does take place on a different time of day than this one. This one is later in the day. So, okay, that looks good, but I'm just trying to... do that. blur it. There we go. And then what I have been doing for my backgrounds, I've just been turning down the opacity on the line art. So they're still present. It's just not as stark. Had that with another editing software. I ended up just screen recording the finished video and then cropping. Quality ends up being bad. Yeah. I didn't know OBS was open source. But then again, my perception of open source has always been, you know, like very niche. Like, no one has heard of this program. But OBS is one of those softwares that literally everyone uses it. So when I heard it was open source, it's like, huh, that's interesting. But also, you know, not that surprising. I don't know why I switched away from OBS. I think there was a software update, and that's what it was. There was a software update, and it didn't work on my computer anymore. It's just... Let Janty get it away with it! We are closing in on this single panel. Ah! Oh man, okay, yeah, hold up. I just realized. Page. I just take this. Not that. This. Copy. Paste. Okay. And then we just... Okay. That, my friend. No. That's how we do it. That ain't working. That's the way you do it. Money for nothing and your chicks for free. Actually, no. Wait. There we go. Now they're in there, but not just banished to the Shadow Realm, and they still exist. An hour, 3 minutes. All of that in an hour. I'm starting to realize why people don't like doing backgrounds. But, you know, it wouldn't be as much of a pain in the tuchus if I stopped insisting on every frame being its own illustration. But hey, I mean, that's just my style. This one's gonna be a little bit easier since it's just gonna be a gradient. Working, that's the way you do it. Money for nothing and your chicks for free. If you haven't heard the song, Money for Nothing, I think the song's called Money for Nothing, Chicks for Free. I don't remember what the song's actually called, but that guitar solo near the beginning is one of the crunchiest, most glorious sounding solos I've ever heard in a song. The majority of the song is pretty mid. Something about MTV. But it's catchy as hell, as you can see. And the instrumentals, mwah, best I've heard. I'm playing it in my head and it's just oof. I wish I could play a little bit of it on stream so I can share with you guys the majesty that is the opening riff of that song. I don't even remember who sings it. I just remember the chorus. It's catchy. It has an F slur in it. But it's from the 80s, so. Okay. your microwave ovens. That traditions will never end. You got to move these refrigerators. We got to move these color TVs. Hit the wrong button. I did it again. I just keep tilting my head even though I tilted the canvas. Why do I do that? I hate having songs stuck in my head when I'm trying to live stream. Actually, how far back does that go? And then... I hope that was just the wood stove settling. Well, if it's an axe murderer or a burglar, he can have it. Currently, I'm at the mental state where it's like, you know what? If it's a burglar, he can have it, unless it's my computer or my sketchbook. Then I will chase you down to the ends of the earth and kill you. Well, literally anything. You can just steal my... It's over here. Steal my wall of things. Just not my store. Not my RAM. Just don't steal my RAM. Don't steal my computer or my sketchbook. Any of my sketchbooks and notes. I will destroy you. Wait, actually, with the... Ooh. Alex! Given the angle of the camera, we'd see more of the forest behind her. Yeah. Okay. You see at least tree. Is there a bush on the corner? No. No, that's the... This is... The giant oak is right here. Whoops. Here we go. Well, technically it's further that away, but, you know. gotta be mindful of, since the sun is coming in this direction, where, like, through the leaves, because if this, you know, panel is anything to go by, then there's at least a sunbeam coming through here, so that means the dirt directly in front of the nursery is going to be a little bit shaded, while everything else is going to be slightly lighter. But also darker, because trees. Actually, there's a tree right here, so this is all going to be shaded to there. Okay, and we just put the rocks again on their own layer, so I can render them without strays going everywhere. Of course. It says I'm still live, so I'll have to just believe. Is this gonna be just another grade? You know what? No, 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 no. Excuse me. Relay 69. Oh, yeah, that's the right color. Man. It's not allergies, but I swear, I think I might be coming down with something. Because my throat's been hurting. Not like to a, like, ooh, something's wrong degree, but to a, like, just enough to be like, wow, my throat's kind of sore this morning. Huh. Like, I haven't been coughing or anything like that. It's just, like, I'm about to get sick. That's what it feels like. It feels like I'm on the verge. Or the brink. What? Okay. To be fair, the forest is a bit more open from this direction than it is from that direction, so I think we'll just sweep that under the rug. We'll just get away with it. Yeah, I mean, just don't tell anybody. And the cat wants in again. Okay. With the light coming from this direction, so that means a little bit still. That's a bit much, but we can... There. Maybe. If I add another hard light, yeah. I know this is a, oops, this is a lot of layering that's going on all at once, but, you know, instead of just having just the one highlight layer for all the backgrounds, I like having a highlight layer per chunk, so I don't have to keep going back and erasing bits and pieces of, you know, of highlighting that peek through when I can just have the one and it's automatically already clipped to that one layer. Alright, the cat apparently wants in again, so we're going to save. Reopen the gates of heaven. Alright, door is open, you have food. You can leave anytime you like. I'm now out of tissues. Recycle that later. Something happening here. Hello? Oh. The cat wants attention. Everybody don't stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. I don't know why. I do know why. That song has been going through my head. On the reg. I mean... No. I hate being paranoid. 0 out of 10 will not recommend. I don't know. Should I just make it darker? Or should I just do this and have some sort of gradient? I don't know why, but when my first introduction to that song was a Toby Mac rendition, which he wrote the entire song. The only thing he kept was like the chorus. But when I listened to the original, for some reason I thought that song was about 9/11. Even though it came out at least a decade prior to that happening. But then again, I grew up in I was born 98. So I was already like 3 by the time that happened. So there's probably some recess in my mind, some vague recollection of when the rest of the world heard the news. But I wouldn't have known what it meant at the time, and no one would have had to sit me down being like, hey, this happened, because we're on the other side of the country. But my mom remembers hearing the news. She knows exactly where she was. And I was just a wee bab. But, you know, growing up in post 9/11 era America, like, everything kind of led back to some remembrance of what happened that fateful day. A lot of disaster movies that I had watched as a kid were pre 9/11. So I was like, oh yeah, a lot of this hopeful messaging, and then you watch disaster movies from like not even a year later, and it's like, oh, completely different tone, completely different vibe. Why? 9/11. And that's not like conspiracy theories, that's genuinely what happened to the like the movie industry as a whole. Like if you watch a movie like Independence Day and then watch the movie War of the Worlds, the one with what's his name? Is that Mark Wahlberg? And whatnot. Completely different vibes. It was, you know, like people were running for their lives, covered in ash. There was no hopeful message, no like, we're gonna come together and we're gonna beat these guys, yay, USA, USA. Like, Independence Day is definitely a very America movie, and of course, I love Independence Day, man. That movie is so fun. It's fun. But then you watch a different film, you know, like, or get a movie like Battle Los Angeles, or, like I said, War of the Worlds, day and night. That's because we were a completely different country by that point. You know, I thought I was gonna move on and do more this stream, but it looks like that's all we're gonna be doing. All we're gonna be doing is working on this page, because, yeah, we're closing in on 2 hours. An hour and a half, and this is as far as we've gotten. This is sad. But then again, you know, stopping, chatting, having to let the stupid cat in and out. Look at Her Majesty. You can barely see her, because she's like just off camera, like right there. That's her head. I need to tie my hair up. It's choking me. I like hoodies, but the thick collar with my hair is no bueno. Okay, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna go right in here and... You know, I should go back and revisit that song. What is that song about? Stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Stop. Hey, stop. Hey, stop. Hey, stop, stop, stop. I'm working ahead a little bit because I just want to test something. Oh, damn it, I had 6. There we go. I'll make this one. Oop. I don't know what I'm trying to be doing with this panel here, but I'm trying to hide the fact that I didn't draw the rest of her siblings. So if I just make it, you know, artistic and spooky and, you know, intentional, maybe. If I just take this and then move it around. There. Boom. Hides the fact that I don't know what I'm doing. Something bad. That's Mother. Which, I mean, I don't hate. This is gonna like piss off a bunch of the NBs. I don't hate Mother as a band. I just all the songs I've heard of them were kind of mid. You know, not my taste. Not my taste. I mean, if you love Mother, power to you. I just have different tastes. I mean, sure, Hayloft is catchy, but I'm pretty sure that's not like, you know, the best example of what Mother has to offer as a band, but this looks terrible. But it's okay. Because I am a master deceiver. And the best part about these kinds of pages is you with live streaming, I can always come back later and fix it if I don't like it. And if it looks trash, I can just say, hey, this is just the one page. Just the one page. And then I can get, we can come back later and fix it. There we go. Now, my new shading technique. Oh, I'm so proud of how this has turned out, man. I love the way my shading technique has changed since the last time I worked on the comic. It's just the backgrounds, sometimes it goes, sometimes it may be shit. Something here just reeks of blood and suffering. Let it be, these walls are echoing of death. We'll see. It's been a while since I've seen FNAF the musical, but I remember the song, watching that and realizing, oh, wow, Markiplier can sing. Why doesn't he sing more? And then, watching Edge of Sleep, I was like, oh, wow, Mark can act. Why doesn't he act more? And then, Iron Lung. I can't believe I completely blanked on the name for a moment. Multiply minus 65. With endless scrolls reminded me it's me. Hey Foxy, come get a bite, 'cause I'm surviving 5 nights. Sometimes it may be good, sometimes it may be shit. Truer words have never been spoken. I think I'll leave the line art for this for that one alone, because I think it'll distract too much from too much. In the wise words of my director idol, George Lucas, I think it's a bit much. A bit too much. Oh goodness, there. There we go. There we go. I forgot. That or either one. I kind of like that one a bit more. Less onomatopoeias. Well, at least the first panel looks good. I can always come back and fix it later. You know what? I'm just gonna live by that philosophy until posting. Until I render it. Then you know I can always come back and fix it later. Ugh. And I think I'm going to end stream here mostly because I need a break. That took so much out of me. Why? Oh my god. Oh well. Well. Thank you all so much for watching this YouTube live stream, live or after the fact. Either way, I appreciate you. Future projects, same old, same old. Just comics. I'm gonna start working on them off stream. Like, I feel like I just keep saying the same things over and over, but oh well. Because, I want to get back into the YouTube sphere. I'm just not sure what to come back with, and I have been journaling, and I'm wondering, okay, can I turn any of these into videos, or is there a topic I could, you know, I could discuss? Anything like that. I want to ease back into it, and that the past 4 videos that I posted were me trying to ease back into YouTube. And posting them, you know, making them, editing, posting felt very cathartic. And I do feel better about that. But how much catharsis can you function on before you need to, like, in the nicest way possible, get over yourself? Telling me to get over myself when I literally was dealing one of the most devastating losses I'd had to deal with in a while. Whatever. Yeah. I'm trying. I guess is the main message. I am trying. Your patience is appreciated. Your support is undeserved. And your kindness shall not be forgotten. I'm gonna go eat lunch. In the meantime, I'm not gonna do the YouTube spiel. But, yeah. Oh god, do I want to reboot